chosen two poems, and the first one is, the title is a play on words of the famous Rolling Stones song, Sympathy for the Devil. But my poem, as you will hear, is based on, well, it's called Empathy for the Devil. In brackets, empathy will only get you killed. Of all the psychological thrillers I've seen in my 47 years, one of my favourites is The Head, directed by Madrid-born Jorge Dorado. Not for the story, acting, cinematography or script, but for one line in episode 6 or 7. Set on an Antarctic research station, most of the team has been killed when the commander returns. Two survivors, a man and a woman, step into the snow and find a deer fallen and dying. The woman tries to help, but the man pulls her back, telling her empathy will only get you killed. And you will tell him that you love him. Not right now, but soon, a psychic assures me one night. One day on his way to school, a boy walks past the village church and falls madly in love with a young girl washing her dresses in the river for all to see. How can such a beautiful thing wash her dresses in water from the river, thinks he. The boy then journeys through his life and talks often to the washwoman as hallucination. Boy, come sit beside me by the river, she says. What's on your mind? I've just watched a film called Seasons, the boy replies, and there's a line about empathy that made me think, what if I'm talking to ChatGPT and asking for its empathy? The washwoman murmurs, unfazed by his curiosity. Remember, you are kind and empathy can be cruel. There's a Chinese idiom, compare your heart to another person's heart. I see, the boy says softly. Sometimes empathy overwhelms me. Later, the boy sees the washwoman again. Your teacher uses his hand as a kind of empathetic spade. Beware, cognitive empathy is essential to the ability to tell lies, the washwoman tells the boy. Question, the boy, becoming now man, then adds, if you're too empathetic with someone, is it then boring? Yes, and dangerous, says the washwoman. When I try too hard, he says, empathy becomes a burden. So you must learn, the washwoman advises, to balance connection with self-preservation. To teach empathy is a calling, to practice it is a discipline. And you have met a devil. The boy becoming man replies, but he is handsome, such a handsome devil. Yes, he is, she adds. He's no Narcissus, but he knows he's cute. And you are an empath. Remember, your heart always needs to make a profit, never a loss. The basic laws of business. Not right now, but soon, the boy becoming man says to a puzzled washwoman, as if her constant wiseness has momentarily come undone. It is now much later, much later. The man asks, what does it mean, washwoman, if you dream of rotten fruit? The washwoman answers, well, the foundations of buildings are never seen. Don't go losing your loaf over a lad who can't mind the shop. If he wanted your cherries, he'd mind your stall. If he wanted your juice, he'd bring his own glass. You've got soft fruit in you, poet blood, jam heart. Don't flog your best apples cheap, my dear. The man asks, so empathy is love, then is it, washwoman? Yes, she replies, love is the courage to enter the world of another. Empathy is the key, love is the door. And yet, the man replies, being an empath is messy, yes, washwoman. Exactly, she answers, and in that mess we find love, we find connection, we find the courage to see ourselves truly. She then walks into the river, water up to her neck until she drowns. What remains on the shoreline is a book, Spanish on My Tongue by Anon, with a note, to be read when you are wise. And in that moment, the words of the psychic hit. I am at a crossroads in my life, such pretty forks in the river. I sent Jorge Dorado, director of The Head, a direct message on his Insta. It reads, "May I ask you, Mr. Jorge Dorado, sir, is Spanish on My Tongue your new psychological thriller? Am I the protagonist, or can I be a part? Can a part be written especially for me? I am poor, but I would write you a poem every day, until the hand that writes them turns against me. I think that's fair recompense, don't you? And if I may be so bold, are you single, as you look like a very nice man from what I've seen of you on socials? I promise I'm not stalking you. Just would like to get to know you more. Yes, empathy may indeed get me killed, but it may also prove to be the way I find love." And that's the first.